And for more on the global oil market, I'm now being joined by a research analyst with financial derivatives company, Adim Okwesa. Good afternoon, Adim. Thank you very much for coming through to us.
Thank you.
Now, oil prices have rallied considerably since the last week's Vienna meeting, although we saw prices drop this morning. Now, aside from the drawdown in U.S. inventories, what are the other factors driving oil prices at this time?
Well, we have rising output from Libya. I think in the last couple of days, Libya's output has staged a modest recovery. Production from its largest oil field has recovered to 230,000 barrels per day. And of course, rising production from Libya complicates OPEC's efforts to rebalance the market. So that's why, in combination with higher US crude oil inventories, that's why we're seeing prices trend lower today.
Now, earlier this week, we heard the Iran's oil minister call for OPEC to really address the rising Libya and Nigeria oil production, despite the cuts there. Now, are these two countries, Libya and Nigeria, are they really a threat to this production cut deal?
Well, I think that's a difficult question to answer. I think yes, they are threats because there's still significant upside in their production. There's still a lot of, for example, Libya's production is currently at 950,000 barrels per day, and their capacity is about 1.2 million barrels per day. So that's still significant, but there's still a significant potential for production to continue rising. But we have to know that the situation in both Libya and Nigeria's oil industries are very fragile. For example, in Libya, although production has risen sharply in recent weeks or months, the situation is still very volatile. Production has fluctuated because of shutdowns by several militant groups. And of course, Nigeria, although there's relative calm in the Niger Delta region, anything can happen. Militants might decide to carry out sabotage on pipelines, and that would disrupt production again. So I think production from Libya, yes, to answer your question, rising production from Libya and Nigeria pose a threat to OPEC's ability to continue reining in on oil supply.
Now, looking at this rally in oil prices, how sustainable really is it?
Well, I think it is sustainable. I think we should expect to see this price level for the next couple of weeks, or it might even cross $60 per barrel. Why? Because apart from the supply side, demand is also looking very healthy at the moment. U.S. refining activity has picked up considerably in the past couple of weeks post Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Emma. And also, the demand for U.S. exports is very strong at the moment. I think in August, the U.S. overtook Saudi Arabia as the largest exporter of crude oil to Asia. So the demand for exports is very strong. And let's not forget what's happening in Iraq regarding the Kurdish referendum. I think yesterday the results on the referendum came out, and the majority of Kurds voted for independence. Now, there's likely to be resistance and backlash from the Iraqi central government and even Turkey. So this might create instability in the region, which is already dogged by war. So any threat to Iraq is a major also oil producer. So any threat to its production will continue supporting the oil market. So I think this current oil price level is sustainable in the near term.
And of course, you see the oil prices getting up to $60 a barrel, right?
That's the hope. That's the hope.
Right. Let's talk about how this impacts Nigeria. Higher oil prices, of course, bode well for export revenue, the exchange rate, and other key economic indicators. However, what do you think are the adverse effects of higher oil prices on Nigeria's economy?
Well, there's this sense that, let's say, the Nigerian government might decide to take its foot off the gas and be, let's say, complacent with its efforts to diversify the economy in light of higher oil prices. The non-oil sector is still very weak. For example, in manufacturing, the manufacturing sector actually slowed down in Q2 compared to Q1. So it's still very unstable now. So there's still a need for us to focus on economic diversification because oil prices are still, the oil market is extremely volatile. We can't keep on relying on oil. Another detrimental effect is that high oil prices would increase the cost of fuel imports for oil marketers. I think the petroleum price template is predicated on $45 per barrel. With oil prices now at $70 per barrel now, there'll be more pressure. There'll be more questions to ask as if the government also subsidies on if it's sustainable. I don't think the government would remove the subsidy because we know elections are coming up soon, and because fuel prices are a very sensitive issue, it would keep the subsidy in place, and because of that, that would put pressure on the government's finances. So those two detrimental effects of higher oil prices.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Adim Okwesa. Adim Okwesa is one of the research analysts with Financial Derivatives Company here in Lagos. Well, it's on that note that we draw the curtain on today's edition of the program. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimezi Obi Iwago.